Yeah, I'm able to record, but I'm gonna tell you to mute your mic a little bit because I can hear some shit here and there.
Okay.
But I'll tell you when. Basically, okay, so I need some context. So you asked me to to give you some feedback on your portfolio and your case studies, okay? Um, and then I told you like I don't know like what the feedback is gonna be for, right? So I asked you like, who is this for? Um, and then you told me, well, just give me the rundown, right? Like, who are you? What do you do? Do you have a job? And what do you need feedback for?
All right. Yeah. So my name's Alex. Currently looking for like a full time job.
Hmm.
Full time like product design job, mainly like junior or associate level. And what I'm really looking for feedback is really just really trying to improve my chances of get my portfolio passed onto like a hiring manager, right?
Okay, I see. Um, it is a little loud, so like you're not coming in here. So basically, you're saying you want to improve your portfolio so that it can get in front of a hiring manager, and I guess like communicate the message that you wanted to communicate, right? To them, right? That you are going to be the designer that they want to hire. Okay. And then you also said uh, you're working right now as like an associate designer, right? So I'm
No,
assuming
no,
that
no,
you
no.
just oh
I'm not
you
working.
oh you're not you
I'm
want to
not
find a
working.
job.
Yeah, yeah. I want to find an
Yeah.
associate or junior level job.
Okay, but you have experience technically. You've done real work, right?
Yeah, here and there, but like nothing like full time.
Okay, all right. So that's context. Okay. When I asked you like who is this for, what did you tell me?
I think I told you it was for recruiters and designers, but I think that might have been a little bit too much for someone who's trying to look into your portfolio, right? Because they may get confused on like, okay, like what am I really like looking for here?
Yeah. And then what did I ask you? Because you said you wanted your portfolio to be better for recruiters to look at and designers to look at too. And then I told you, well, okay, like you can't make it for both people as like the core, focus. You can be like, I'm gonna make parts of the main kind of focus appeal to like let's say recruiters or hiring managers. And then the secondary part could be like, I also want it to resonate with this, right? It's not like you have to pick a track and then exclude the other. It's just that when you think about the core message that you're trying to communicate, you have to appeal to one to be most effective, right? Um, okay. And then I asked you, what does a recruiter want? And what did you tell me?
I think I told you that the recruiter. Uh, I think like what I told you was like the recruiter probably wants a designer who has like good hard skills, right?
Mhm.
Good taste, potentially.
Okay. But
Right,
what is
but
that like? See, the thing is, like right there, like you said, you think a recruiter wants to find a designer who has good hard skills and good taste.
yeah,
Okay. Um, how do we define that? Like yes, like there's this weird collective hive mind of design people that think that like taste is universal, but like you are assuming that everyone is going off the same playbooks. Every designer has the same taste profile, right? But design recruiters, they're not designers, right? They like maybe some of them have inclinations, right? But doesn't necessarily mean that they know what taste is either, right? Maybe the more designers that they talk to over their career, like they understand what that looks like. But you have to assume that when you're dealing with like a hiring like related person, like a recruiter or some sort of like person in that process, like they're not designers, right? Because I feel like, well, like this might not be always true, but like I feel like most of the time, like unless the designer themselves is hiring and they're the design manager hiring, like the hiring manager, like you're dealing with people who are trying to interpret what that looks like, and they're using a combination of your resume and what is passed through the ATS, and then like the information that they get from your portfolio. So me, like I've worked with a couple recruiters in the past, and they don't know what I'm looking for in the sense of like portfolios. That's like the biggest abstract thing to them. They don't know how to define that, and so With that in mind, like you are not trying to solve for the problem of the recruiter finding a you know a badass designer. Like that is yes, like that's what they want as the end result. But what they care about is risk, right? So to them, it's like, does this candidate, like, do I have confidence that this candidate can meet the requirements of this JD that I've been given, right? And that's like the thing that they're matching up, right? And they might have external like instructions from like the hiring manager saying, or like the design director saying like, oh, I'm looking for this type of profile, and then they'll give them like reference portfolios and be like, these are the type of portfolios I think are good. But ultimately, at the end of the day, like they have to go off their best judgment, right? And so now that you have like that kind of lens, it's like, okay, well, let's look at your portfolio. Like, why doesn't it work, and what like works about it, right? That's like the thing that we have to ask. I don't know why I can't share my screen. In effect. Okay. So what was your site? Okay. Okay. Um, okay, so like off the bat, like I've seen this type of profile before, or this portfolio where you just have like this one clear section, and then just like case studies. I actually think this is fine. Like this is good, right? But I would say that like when you describe what you do, the more junior you are, like in your career path, the better it is to have a focus or a niche, right? So when you say that, Alex is a product designer with a love for playful interaction and a sharp eye for detail, like my ask to you is like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, how is that any different from any other product designer? Like, what's your area of expertise? Like, do you want to work on like startups, like 0 to 1 spaces? Like, do you want to work on like enterprise products? Do you want to work on mobile apps? Like, when I see your profile, like your portfolio, like I see like an enterprise dashboard, and then I see like a mobile app design for Discord, and then I see like brand, and then I see, I don't know what this is, and then I see posters. So like imagine that you are trying to find someone to, let's say like you are the product manager, right? And you need to hire, let's say, a designer, a product designer. That's the role that you're hiring for. But your app is, um, a mobile app, right? And it's for like crypto. Okay. There is going to be a bias. Like they're going to look for people who have mobile apps designs, right? And then, financial experience, right? So like if I land on your profile, do you think this person is going to even care what they see here? Not a rhetorical question.
Hello?
Do you understand what I'm saying now? Like when you're looking at your own page, after I've given you like this kind of context of like, I'm going to a portfolio to try to see if they're going to be the right fit based on my understanding that if I recommend a bad person to my hiring manager, I lose like trust in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Like there's risk for me to just be like, hey, look at all these things. Like eventually, like I'm just not going to get the referral or something, right? Like recruiters make money off of handoff, right? Or like people that get hired, right? So like the more people I have to suggest, the more cluttered like my recommendations become, and then it's just real estate that I don't really want to give up. Now, granted, like the risk is low. Like if I gave some design manager a portfolio and he didn't like the work, I'm probably not going to get like that upset about it. But anyway, but how do you move up on that list of priority, right? Like if I'm a design recruiter, I'm looking at this JD, and then I'm looking at your portfolio. Like your portfolio doesn't have like a focus to it off the bat, right? There's no like consistent theme. Like I'm seeing like a modular dashboard, and then I see a Discord design, thing, right? And it's not to say that you need everything to be the exact same type of work, but there needs to be like a thread of like the type of work that you do, right? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah,
Like,
it's more like
yeah,
how do I really like create a recurring theme within my portfolio that really like makes me stand out, right?
yeah.
Like with my niche list.
Yeah, because like you think about like a lot of companies when they hire people from other companies, they're hiring them because of the experience that they have and the context that they work in, right? Like if I apply for Microsoft, right, and then Microsoft has a product designer position for, let's say, AI work, right? Like Copilot. The work that I've done for like U.com, like doing AI like conversational design and stuff like that, that's probably a lot more relevant, right? And like you can't really control like what everyone sees, right? But what you can do is have a focus in mind of like who do I want to work for, and then try to tailor the case study presentations up front to match that, right? Even when we think about, let's say, like this stuff right here, I just said like this is brand, right? But what if you want to work in the music industry, right? Like you can have like music product design, like concept work or something, or like tied in with like the music brand work, right? Like thematically that makes sense, right? Or you could be like, hey, I'm a mobile app designer. Here's all the stuff I did for all these different mobile apps, right? There's an area of focus that you are clearly like specialized in. You can't be a super generalist so early on because people won't know what you're good at. And there's a bias towards people who don't have a lot of work experience, that you just don't have, enough longevity in your career to have excelled at doing enterprise product design and mobile app B2C design, right? Like it's just unlikely. So you need to stack the deck in your favor. You need to find things that say like, this is the type of designer I am, and then this is the type of work that I've done, even before you get to the case study. Okay, does that make sense? Um,
Yeah.
okay, so now with that in mind, like off the bat, like I'm looking at your case study, like or like your little your thumbnails. Like I I don't think this is like a great thumbnail. I think the thumbnails should be more like kind of like marketing focused in a sense. Like it's like the most interesting thing rather than a piece of the case studies, right? So like maybe like this is entire flow that you're showing here is not the thing you want to lead with, right? It could be like an animation or like interaction that you're showing, right? Because this might have motion going on there and make you feel like something's happening, but like what you're actually doing is kind of boring, right? So like maybe it's the swipe interaction that you highlight up front, and you take the card out of the phone itself, so it's easier to like cognitively like see what's happening, right? And you just show the card interaction. Like you need to dumb down the thumbnails a little bit and be more focused on like telling a concise like preview into what that they said about before they go in, rather than like sticking something with like a ton of details. Like I look at this like you took a picture of a website and put it in a website. You know, like that's not that adds to like to the visual clutter, right? So sometimes people make images up just for the case study, right? Because the actual work that they do doesn't look as good when you're talking about it, and that's okay. They're not going to sit there and be like, "Hey, show us your product that you built." And everyone understands, like when you're a designer working somewhere, like you will make things, and that the development build will not look exactly the same, right? But what matters more is that like you explain your design decisions and like the things that you did to create like these interface concepts or like the narrative concepts, and then pair them with a storytelling ability that is consumable. Okay. So now I'm going to go into this one because this is the only real work I think I see here. Okay. All right. Um, I don't think this is as compelling of a story as we think it is, or like I think this is a false sense of like there's movement on the screen, so it must be good, right? Um, to be honest, like it might be even better for you to just have the logo up here for Athena HQ on like a clean background, and then start with put this stuff down here, right? Okay. Designing a modular dashboard for marketers who need to monitor, interpret, and present visibility data. Designing a modular dashboard for marketers who need. This is okay. This is solutions. You made this, right? You are not telling me the value you created or the problem that you solved. So like when you think about how to tell a case study story, you got to think of it almost like you are a protagonist in a story, right? And you went on a journey. You started off in the beginning of the story, and you're learning about the world around you, and you run into a first challenge, and that challenge is the thing you have to overcome in order to end up like having grown at the end, right? And the stories that you are telling, you have to kind of like preface it or tell the story, start off the story with a hook that tells me from a regular person's point of view, what it is that you offer from a value perspective. What did designing a modular dashboard do for marketers who need to monitor, interpret, and present AI visibility data? Like, why is this important to them? What is the value you created for them? What is the stressor that they had, or the situation that they were in where they needed this, right? That's the thing you need to you like hook people with, you know? Like you think about like a case study. Let's go to like I'm just going to use MetaLab, and this is obviously like a different standard of comparison. But like think about the way they tell the story. Okay, like Suno. All right here. Create a destination where everyone has the tools to transform into an artist. You see what this says? This vision right here. Designing a modular dashboard for marketers who need to monitor, interpret, and present the AI visibility data. What do you get from something like this? Do you see that there's like an aspirational state for the user here?
Yeah, like more so getting to a goal like where they need to get to, right?
This is claiming that, just from context, we're speaking. And by the way, this is not their hook, right? But like I'm using this kind of as an example, like of how they abstracted like the product design. Like this means transforming into an artist implies that being an artist is gatekeep to a degree, right? And then they're saying the tools are the things that are making it a possibility for people who weren't able to be artists before to now access this desired end state. So to them, they created a product that is a tool that enables people to reach an aspirational state where they could describe themselves as artists, right? Did they say we built a music production app that makes music? No, because that's not like a good story. You need to figure out like what the marketers gain from this. Like what is the value that they gain and the benefit, right? And say like, look, this is the thing that we helped them to achieve. This is the aspirational state that they wanted to be at, and how we got there. I'm going to show you. That's the hook. And then you start with, okay, here's the context or overview or something, right? Before, okay, the original dashboard felt dense before even users even know where to look. The problem was not a lack of data. It was that everything arrived at once, weak hierarchy, too many competing modules. And by the way, I'm sitting here reading this, right? Most people aren't going to read this. They'll see this or like this, right? This is not linguistically like something that I care about. The hook, and then what was the problem, right? You say that the original dashboard felt dense before users even knew where to look. What is this issue? Did it need it? Like, was it a drop off in like usage? Like, did it cause churn? Right? Do you have this information?
Yeah. So I think like originally the main problem was like more so drop off from the
Yeah.
dashboard, right? So like not much people were really seeing on the dashboard, and
Mhm.
it's like that, or the user would like go way down towards like a very
Uh-huh.
specific like I forgot data point that they need,
Yeah.
and then just like bounce off.
Okay.
Right.
So basically, you're saying that the current state of the app didn't give them the information that they needed to, which resulted in churn.
Yeah.
You see how I said that as opposed to this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so that's the challenge, right? Context, different stakeholders, different needs, one dashboard. This is true for every dashboard, bro. Like, I don't need this. What users needed, CMOs needed. Again, like I know this. Like maybe most people don't know this. I mean, maybe I'm just projecting a little bit, but like I don't think that the context needs to be so in depth, right? Um, Keep it like simple. What was the challenge that you solved, right? Or what was the challenge that you identified, right? What are some sorry, so I to phrase this a little different. What is the problem you identified? What are the challenges you faced, right? And these things are all kind of like similar to me. Like it's like one sentence to me. You don't need to put like all of this, right? Just tell me like um everyone has different needs, right? Like the data that they needed to read was dependent on the situation or like the context of the user, right? Which is part of the thing that you identified, that like people have to scroll down to find the thing that they need, right? Okay. Doesn't need to be this in-depth thing. Just say that, maybe one sentence, and then put the quote. Well, this is not a quote though. What is he saying? I've got all the instruments I need, but I gotta put together a symphony now. What does this mean?
It's more so like I
Okay,
think
I
it's
understand.
yeah,
You're saying
it's
that he has all the
very
information, but he has to put together a way to consume that information, and that's
yeah,
annoying.
exactly. In a way,
But do
it's
you
like
see? Oh, go ahead.
yeah. In a way, like I do think like it is a little bit too metaphorical and too free for say like if a
Yeah,
recruiter just like looks at this and then like they probably have to do like don't things like yo what am I seeing right here right
right. And this actually sounds like a compliment, right? Okay, design goals. I reframed the opportunity around the three jobs that quick my okay. If these are the three jobs that you focused on, why didn't you make these the 3 points that you talked about? How might we turn AI's visibility data into dashboard that clicks supporting? This I think your how might we statement here is a little too specific, and
yeah
it's not focused on like the pain point of the user, right? Okay, solution, a strong default that works out of the box. This is where you want to put your motion here, okay? Olympus open. And if you're talking about the modularity of this, right?
yeah
Why don't you show all the module pieces like broken up, like visually, you
mm,
know? Like kind of like again, I'm gonna use MetaLab because they have a lot of references that I could pull from. Um I think like one of these things I've seen. I can't find it, but like they highlight like each component separately like this, you know. Um and you can even think about it like more of just let me see. I wish I could like have like a repository I could just call on command, but unfortunately I don't. Um I think maybe it was instrument. I'm also gonna cut all of this shit out. Yeah, let's look at this. Like this. You see how they show like all of these components like outside of the console like this,
yeah
right? Making it like very visual and like storytelling oriented, you know, like this. And this lets you actually have the opportunity to redesign some of this stuff to make it feel a little better for you like this. And I would say like if you're gonna show enterprise product design like the way that you're showing me, let me find this. Like this is just way too dense, right? Either like zoom in a little bit, like here to like specific parts of it when you're talking about relevant things, right? Or like use the design components that you've built to tell a better story, like break them out, right? You can keep the real like thing in context with like emotion video, like the way that you have it up here, but you don't need like nobody wants to sit here and then like look at the same like dashboard with like a bunch of fucking things over and over again. Like I get it. Like we've seen this thing a million times, you know? Like one system for this. Okay, yeah. See all of these things, like this is all under like, the same kind of thing for me, like the
Yeah.
solution aspect, right? You built like a modular system, right? Allows for people to kind of like pick and choose what they want to see, right? And you can
It's more
definitely do that better. Huh?
yeah, so I guess like it's more so like how do we really showcase like more of the details within
Yeah,
the design, right? And
yeah.
then
Because
explain a little bit about like the design decision that happened.
yeah, yeah. Because if you just do this, like there's two things. Like it's boring to look at, like no one's gonna look at it. And it actually does a disservice to your storytelling because you're trying to say that you built these modular things. I don't fucking see the modularity. Do you see it from here? Like, yeah, I see boxes, but like what here tells me that I can move shit around and change things around?
Yeah.
Okay. Export PNG then drop. What is this? Dashboard to presentation. Again, this is another thing you could just easily show with motion, right? Like you and now there's really no excuse, right? Because we have like Figma motion. Like you can imagine that you literally take this screen, press the button, and then it just moves the screen into a slide deck, right? Like that motion is not hard to do anymore. So I would like do that if you have the time, okay? And then what is this? Full generation report was too heavy. What is this?
So basically, I think originally we wanted to have a way for marketers to kind of get like reports right out to like leadership, but like I think that just ended up being too much to kind of just like do. So I think towards the end, it was just much better for us to let them to export dashboard data.
Also, this was a thing that they didn't end up using, right? Yeah. Okay, I would cut this from this page just because, like, first of all, like, I thought this was part of the page, so I couldn't click this. Like, it looks like UI on your screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's a little confusing. And plus, like, if it's something that you didn't ship and it doesn't look fucking amazing, don't show it. Okay. Like this could be part of like when you talk in an actual case study presentation, like we did exploration cycles, and then this is all the stuff that we did. Like then you can frame it there. But on a high level case study page like this, like you just need to clearly talk about like problem, context, challenges, like solution, your hypothesis solution, and then like metrics for success and learning. Like I know you're missing a lot of like I did all these exploratory work in the UXR. You can have a little bit of the UXR in there as long as you put it in a consumable way, right? Stripe. Okay, this print already works as still. I don't need this. Like this is why are you telling me that someone else made your design already? Vision to roll. This is good. Lead with this actually. Put this in the front. Say like this project led to this stuff before you even get into this work. Okay. I mean, you can always like re-emphasize like this in a different way down here, but I think you should lead with like I made actual business impact. Okay. Reflection dashboard is really a dashboard. Yeah, dude, like no shit, dude. This is not good reflection, man. What did you learn? Like, what did you learn not only about design, but about the process? Like, how did you navigate like stakeholder input and challenges? How did you think about scale? You know, how did you learn about other people and how they work? And how did that influence the way you thought about like creating workflows, right? The hard thing about building like things for B2B like companies like this is that you have to make things so flexible so that every company who has a different working process can use your product. But then you have to balance that with like usability and heuristics that emphasize like, hey, like try not to show them shit that doesn't matter all the time because like otherwise you just get a really crappy cluttered experience all the time, right? That is difficult stuff to do. And what you're saying is that you built something that's, visually at least, like it's supposed to help clean up some of that cognitive overload, right?
Yeah.
And so, like from a design standpoint, you got to talk about like the challenges that you ran into as a designer, just like having to come to terms with the fact that sometimes like the usability things are trade-offs because the job to be done is more important at the end of the day when it comes to business. Understand?
Yeah.
Okay. The last thing I'll say is like the text you need to work on thinking about case studies as like a magazine, right? Like if I just get a Word doc with text going up and down, I guarantee you I'm not going to read it. Okay. Like even the best case studies, when they do this, like I doze off. The only reason why I'll stick around is if the screenshots and the quality of work are so well done that like it's eye candy for me and I want to learn how they did it. But even in those situations, the way that they tell the set the typography and tell the story, that's the thing that's gonna keep me there, right? I'd say like, cut this stuff like to this size, right? So it's more readable. Use more white space. Cut this over here and like maybe like offset it, right? Play with some layout design a little bit more. Um, stop using so many different like font sizes and different like output channels for your message, like the text that you have here and the content, and do a little bit more on like getting the narrative down, identifying like you as the hero, and then figuring out how did you get to like the win at the end. Okay. Like you have all the information here, you have all the pieces here. You just need to like recontextualize it because it's just way too dense, dude. And I will say like there's a place for that. But as like just someone who is landing on your site, like if I am hiring a junior designer, like I I will be a lot more felt by the impact of you spending time to tell the narrative in a way I can consume, because that tells me you understand me as a user, as a hiring manager, going to your portfolio, trying to understand like what your skill sets are. Okay. Like your work is not bad. It's that you're just bad at talking about it. All right. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. I would recommend that you literally talk to Claude and tell it, I'm building a case study. This is the way I want to tell it. I want a strong storyline where I am the hero, right? And then we have clear sections that are talking about blank, 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 right? Overview, challenges, uh, um, whatever you want. You can put hypothesis in there, like assumptions, right? Assumptions and learning, or assumption and context, like that could be the part where you get the quote from the user, right? Solution, and then like outcome and learnings, and then you ask it to grill the shit out of you and then help you to create a cohesive narrative. And then once you do that, then put the pieces of images in place and cut down as much text as you can as possible, but keep like keywords like systems, modularity, flexibility, engineering handoff, like those are things that people care about. Like how did you ship this to engineering, right? Design, was there a design system used, like stuff like that, right? Like you should be able to tell the Claude agent like these are important things for a designer and help me to implement that in my narrative, and ask me questions to help you fill that narrative out. There's so many easier ways to do this now. Like you just need to have a conversation. All right. Helpful or not?
Huh?
Was that helpful?
Yeah, that was really helpful. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I was also thinking of like probably just reworking my portfolio.
but what's
'Cause,
the
like,
point of reworking your portfolio if your case studies suck?
well, like before, like after when I'm like done
Fix your case studies first.
Yeah.
Like do that, and then you can fix the portfolio later. Like that. Like I said, like portfolios are just like networking tools at the end of the day. Like it depends like where you put it. Like we have no science behind what makes a portfolio good, because there's too many factors that go into what, like how people decide this, right? But what you can do is work on your storytelling ability. And this is important whether or not you are working on your portfolio or working for someone else. Anytime you need to pitch an idea or a concept or a feature to a stakeholder, the way that you win and get your design to be, seen as impactful is if you can tell the story right. Like, I don't buy your story. You told me that you built a better dashboard. There's nothing there. I mean, there's metrics at the end, but like based on the what you're telling me up front, I don't get it. I don't understand how you could say that this dashboard is better. Because to me, your old dashboard looked marginally worse than your new dashboard. Are you telling me that you're such a fucking good like visual designer that your components are so good that it increased usability 10x? No, that is never the case. I can't say that. I can't tell you that I worked for my enterprise company and then they said, hey, let's rebuild these like dashboard widgets. And I made such good dashboard widgets that they were like, holy fuck, we got like 50% user retention because you made the graph nicer and cleaner to read. No one has ever said that in the history of working at these companies. And I would guarantee you that I have not done that because like everyone will see that information differently and process it differently. You are solving a business problem. You are solving a user problem. You are solving it with visual design and UX design, right? And so you are going to talk about like why that matters, okay? And how you solve it using design, okay? The hard part about a good case study is that requires a business focused lens to be able to tell it well, right? But most designers don't think about that. They think about like, I push pixels. How do I make my pushing pixels sound more important? And they go like, well, like I'll talk about like the pixels I pushed and then like the research I did. And at the end, I'll say, look, like we got metrics of success. And they fail to realize that like you can say all the stuff that you want and say like, oh yeah, conversion, like this should like improve or retention improve. But how do you know that it was your design? Like, it could have been a multitude of other things that you guys shipped. You need to tie it back to your narrative, you know?
Yeah. I think like communication has always just been one of my biggest pain points. So
There's no excuse anymore. You have
yeah,
Claude
there's no
Code,
excuse.
Claude Chat. Talk to
Hot
Claude.
chat.
Tell it to grill the shit out of you and tell it to make sure that your storytelling is tight, that it makes sense, that there's a clear hero, there's a clear victory, there's a clear problem. It's a story, man. You need to read the book storytelling, or some story branding or some shit like that. Like I forgot what it was, but every time I tell a story, I always present the problems. Right? I always say, here's where we're at, here's the problem, and here's the journey that we can take to get to our promised land. Think about it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, man, and make it look a little nicer, dude. You have time.
Yeah. I have many ones too, but get this.
Yeah. All right. Well, take a stab at it, and then come back to me,
Yeah.
and then we'll see how you do. Okay. All right. Thanks, Alex. I'm glad you let me roast you on a video that I'm recording.
Wow, you're gonna be posting on this YouTube, right?
I'll cut it a little bit because it's a long session, and I think like I have to figure out like which parts of it are the most important. I do feel like there's parts of it where I kind of like dove a little deeper than used to.
Yeah.
But I do think there's.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no.